The western jackdaw, also known as the Eurasian jackdaw, European jackdaw, or simply jackdaw, is a passerine bird in the crow family, found across Europe, Western Asia and North Africa. It is mostly resident, although northern and eastern populations migrate south in winter. 4 subspecies are recognized, which mainly differ in the coloration of the plumage on the head and nape. Linnaeus first described it formally, giving it the name Corvus monedula. Later analysis of its DNA suggests that it, along with its closest relative, the Dorian jackdaw, is an early offshoot from the genus Corvus, and possibly distinct enough to warrant reclassification in a separate genus, Corvus. The common name derives from the word jack, meaning small, and daw, the native English name for the bird. Measuring 34 to 39 centimeters in length, the western jackdaw is a black-plumaged bird with a gray nape and distinctive pale gray irises. It is gregarious and vocal, living in small groups with a complex social structure in farmland, open woodland, on coastal cliffs, and in urban settings. An omnivorous and opportunistic feeder, it eats a wide variety of plant material and invertebrates, as well as food waste from urban areas. Western jackdaws are monogamous and build simple nests of sticks in cavities in trees, cliffs, or buildings. About 5 pale blue or blue-green eggs with brown speckles are laid and incubated by the female. The young fledge in 4 to 5 weeks. Systematics. Etymology. The western jackdaw was one of the many species originally described by Linnaeus in his 18th century work Systema Naturae. Owing to its supposed fondness for picking up coins, Linnaeus gave it the binomial name Corvus monedula, choosing the specific name monedula, which is derived from moneta, the Latin stem of the word money. The genus Corvus, from the ancient Greek kappa omicron lambda omicron iota omicron sigma phi jackdaw, was created by Peter Pallas in 1766, though most subsequent works have retained the 2 jackdaw species in Corvus. The original Old English word ceo gave modern English chuff. Chaucer sometimes used this word to refer to the western jackdaw, as did Shakespeare in Hamlet, although there has been debate about which species he was referring to. This onomatopoeic name, based on the western jackdaw's call, now refers to corvids of the genus Pyrrhicorax. The red-billed chough, formerly particularly common in Cornwall, became known initially as the Cornish chough, and then just the chough, the name transferring from one species to the other. The common name jackdaw first appeared in the 16th century, and is thought to be a compound of the forename jack, used in animal names to signify a small form, and the archaic native English word daw. Formerly, western jackdaws were simply called daws. The metallic chike call may be the origin of the jack part of the common name, but this is not supported by the Oxford English Dictionary. Daw, first used for the bird in the 15th century, is held by the Oxford English Dictionary to be derived from the postulated Old English daw, citing the cognates in Old High German taha, Middle High German tahe tashel, and Modern German dala a dole, and dialectal tak dahi, dash and dacha. Names in English dialects are numerous. Scottish and North English dialects have included caracay since the 14th century. The Midlands form of this word was oaku. Caddo is potentially a compound of car and dow, a variant of da. Other dialectal or obsolete names include cadassi, cawdaw, caddy, chow, college bird, jackadaw, jacko, car-watty, chimney sweep bird, and sea crow. It was also frequently known quasi-nominally as jack. An archaic collective noun for a group of jackdaws is a clattering. Another name for a flock is a train. Taxonomy. A study in 2000 found that the genetic distance between jackdaws and the other members of Corvus was greater than that within the rest of the genus. This led Pamela Rasmussen to reinstate their genus name Coeus in her Birds of South Asia, a treatment also used in a 1982 systematic list in German by Hans Edmund Walters. A study of corvid phylogeny undertaken in 2007 compared DNA sequences in the mitochondrial control region of several corvids. It found that the western jackdaw, and the closely related Dorian jackdaw of eastern Russia and China, were basal to the core Corvus clade. The names Coeus monedula and Coeus dorericus have since been adopted by the International Ornithological Congress in their official list. The two species of jackdaw have been reported to hybridize in the Altai Mountains, southern Siberia, and Mongolia. Analysis of the mitochondrial DNA of specimens of the two species from the core ranges show them to be genetically distinct. Subspecies. There are 4 recognized subspecies of the western jackdaw. All European subspecies integrate where the populations meet. cm. Monedula integrates into cm. Soemering in a transition zone running from Finland south across the Baltic and eastern Poland to Romania and Croatia. cm. Monedula, the nominate subspecies, is found in Eastern Europe. Its range extends across Scandinavia, from southern Finland south to Esbjerg and Haderslev in Denmark, through eastern Germany and Poland, and south across eastern Central Europe to the Carpathian Mountains and northwestern Romania, Vojvodina in northern Serbia, and Slovenia. It breeds in southeastern Norway, southern Sweden, and northern and eastern Denmark, with occasional wintering in England and France. It has been recorded as a rare vagrant to Spain. It has a pale nape and sides of the neck, a dark throat, and a light grey partial collar of variable extent. cm. Spermalogus occurs in Western and Central Europe from the British Isles, Netherlands and the Rhineland in the north, through western Switzerland into Italy in the southeast, and the Iberian Peninsula and Morocco in the south. It winters in the Canary Islands and Corsica. The name Spermalogus comes from the Greek sigma pi epsilon rho mu omicron lambda omicron gamma omicron sigma, a picker-up of seeds. It is darker in color than the other subspecies and lacks the whitish border at the base of the gray nape. cm. Soemering is found in northeastern Europe and north and central Asia, from the former Soviet Union to Lake Baikal and northwest Mongolia, and south to Turkey, Israel and the eastern Himalayas. Its southwestern limit to Serbia and southern Romania. It winters in Iran and northern India. Johann Fischer von Waldheim described this taxon as Corvus soemeringi in 1811, noting its differences from populations in Western Europe. Its species name was given in honor of the German anatomist, Samuel Thomas von Soemering. It is distinguished by the nape and the sides of the neck being paler, creating a contrasting black crown and lighter gray part collar. cm. Sirtensis is found in Morocco and Algeria in northwestern Africa and was formerly found in Tunisia. The name Sirtensis refers to the ancient city of Sitha in Numidia. The plumage is duller and more uniformly dark gray than the other subspecies, with the paler nape less distinct. Description: measuring 34 to 39 centimeters in length, the western jackdaw is the second smallest member of the genus Corvus. Most of the plumage is a shiny black, with a purple or blue sheen on the crown, a forehead, and secondaries, and a green-blue sheen on the throat, primaries, and tail. The cheeks, nape and neck are light gray to grayish silver, and the underparts are slate gray. The legs are black, as is the short stout bill, the length of which is about 75% of the length of the rest of the head. There are rectal bristles covering around 40% of the maxilla and 25% of the lower mandible. The irises of adults are greyish or silvery white, while those of juveniles are light blue, becoming brownish before whitening at around 1 year of age. The sexes look alike, though the head and neck plumage of male birds fades more with age and weight, particularly just before molting. Western jackdaws undergo a complete molt from June to September in the western parts of the range, and a month later in the east. The purplish sheen of the cap is most prominent just after molting. Immature birds have duller and less demarcated plumage. The head is a sooty black, sometimes with a faint greenish sheen, and brown feather base is visible. The back and side of the neck is dark grey and the underparts greyish or sooty black. The tail has narrower feathers and a greenish sheen. There is very little geographic variation in size. The main difference is the presence or absence of a whitish partial collar at the base of the nape. The variations in the shade of the nape and the tone of the underparts. Populations in Central Asia have slightly larger wings, and Western populations have a slightly heavier bill. Body color becomes darker further north, in mountain regions and humid climates, and paler elsewhere. However, individual variation, particularly in juveniles and also during the months before molting, can often be greater than geographic differences. A skilled flyer, the western jackdaw can maneuver tightly as well as tumble and glide. It has characteristic jerky wing beats when flying, though these are not evident when birds are migrating. Wind tunnel experiments show that the preferred gliding speed is between 6 and 11 meters per second, and that the wingspan decreases as the bird flies faster. On the ground, western jackdaws have an upright posture and strut briskly, the short legs giving them a rapid gait. They feed with the heads held down horizontally. Within its range, the western jackdaw is unmistakable. Its short bill and grey nape are distinguishing features. From a distance, it can be confused with a rook, or when in flight, with a pigeon or chough. Flying western jackdaws are distinguishable from other corvids by the smaller size, faster and deeper wing beats, and proportionately narrower and less fingered wing tips. They also have shorter, thicker necks, much shorter bills, and frequently fly in tighter flocks. They can be distinguished from choughs by the uniformly grey underwings and the black beaks and legs. The western jackdaw is very similar in morphology, behavior, and calls to the Dorian jackdaw, with which its range overlaps in Western Asia. Adults are readily distinguished, since the Dorian has a pied plumage, but immature birds are much more similar, both species having dark plumage and dark eyes. The Dorian tends to be darker, with a less contrasting nape than the western. Western jackdaws are voluble birds. The main call, frequently given in flight, is a metallic and squeaky chik-chik-ka-ka. This is a contact greeting call, a feeding call made by adults to call young, or males when offering food to the mates, has been transcribed as kiro-kyo. Females in return give a more drawn-out version when begging for food from males, written as kie-chari-ka-gia-a-a-a. Perched birds often chatter together, and before settling for the night, large roosting flocks make a cackling noise. Western jackdaws also have a hoarse, drawn-out alarm call, used when warning of predators or when mobbing them. Nestlings begin making a soft cheep at about a week of age. As they grow, their voice becomes louder until the call is a penetrating screech around day 18. After this, the voice deepens and softens. From day 25, the young cease calling and become silent if they hear an unfamiliar noise. The European jackdaw can be trained to speak, and whilst it can copy the human voice well, it is usually limited to just a few words or phrases. Distribution and habitat. The western jackdaw is found from northwest Africa through all of Europe, except for the extreme north, and eastwards through Central Asia to the eastern Himalayas and Lake Baikal. To the east it occurs throughout Turkey, the Caucasus, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northwest India. However, it is regionally extinct in Malta and Tunisia. The range is vast, with an estimated global extent of between 1 million and 10 million square kilometers. It has a large global population, with an estimated 15.6 to 45 million individuals in Europe alone. Censuses of bird populations in marginal uplands in Britain show that western jackdaws greatly increased in numbers between the 1970s and 2010, although this increase may be related to recovery from previous periods when they were regarded as pests. The UK population was estimated at 2.5 million individuals in 1998, up from 780,000 in 1970. Most populations are resident, but the northern and eastern populations are more migratory, relocating to wintering areas between September and November and returning between February and early May. The range expands northwards into Russia to Siberia during summer and retracts in winter. They are vagrants to the Faroe Islands, particularly in the winter and spring, and occasionally to Iceland. Elsewhere, western jackdaws congregate over winter in the Ural Valley in northwestern Kazakhstan, the North Caspian, and the Tian Shan region of western China. They are winter visitors to the Quetta Valley in western Pakistan and are winter vagrants to Lebanon, where they were first recorded in 1962. In Syria, they are winter vagrants and rare residents with some confirmed breeding taking place. The Soemurringi subspecies occurs in south-central Siberia and extreme northwest China and is accidental to Hokkaido, Japan. A small number of western jackdaws reached the northeast of North America in the 1980s and have been found from Atlantic Canada to Pennsylvania. They have also occurred as vagrants in Gibraltar, Mauritania, and St. Pierre and Miquelon, and one is reported to have been seen in Egypt. Western jackdaws inhabit wooded steppes, pastures, cultivated land, coastal cliffs, and towns. They thrive when forested areas are cleared and converted to fields and open areas. Habitats with a mix of large trees, buildings, and open ground are preferred. Open fields are left to the rook, and more wooded areas to the Eurasian jay, along with other corvids such as the rook, common raven, and hooded crow. Some western jackdaws spend the winter in urban parks. Populations measured in 3 urban parks in Warsaw show increases from October to December, possibly due to western jackdaws migrating from areas further north. The same data from Warsaw, collected from 1977 to 2003, showed that the wintering western jackdaw population had increased 4-fold. The cause of the increase is unknown, but a reduction in the number of rooks may have benefited the species locally, or rooks overwintering in Belarus may have caused western jackdaws to relocate to Warsaw.